It's MOHR Sports on Fox Sports Radio, and we are very happy to go to the Progressive Insurance Celebrity Hotline. It's the San Diego State Aztec head coach, Steve Fisher. They are the number 7 seed. How are you, Coach? Welcome.
I'm doing good, Jay. This is Steve from San Diego.
Yes. Long-time listener, first-time caller, I bet.
Well, I've been listening, and I listened to you talk about St. Mary's in the game, and we don't refer it anymore to the play-in game. This is the first round of the tournament, and I know you know that wasn't long ago that VCU was in that first-round game and made it all the way to the Final Four.
Coach, never let the truth get in the way of a good bit.
I understand that. I hear you.
This is your 4th straight year that you've made the tournament. This is great. You're a 7th seed. You go up against number 10 seed Oklahoma. But I think you got your work cut out for you. This is no walk in the park for you guys playing Oklahoma. Would you agree?
I 100% agree. I don't think many of them are a walk in the park. If you get in the tournament, in all probability, unless you're maybe a 1 seed, you're going to play a pretty good team. And even a 1 seed, it'll happen sooner rather than later. So we know that there's no separation between probably 6 through 11 or 6 through 12 in terms of the quality of the teams. And Lon Kruger's got a great resume, first coach ever to take 5 different teams to the NCAA tournament. He's a friend. He coached at Vegas when we were competing against one another, and we look forward to playing them. I think it should be a great game.
You know Lon Kruger, obviously, from his UNLV days. Your knowledge of Coach Kruger and his styles and his tendencies, is that an advantage when you're this deep in the season going into the tournament, or could it actually be a disadvantage?
I don't think it's either, to be honest with you. We are good friends. We have socialized together. Our wives are friends. When we had a big win early in the season against UCLA, the first text I had was from Lon. When he beat Kansas, I was on his list of people that text him. So we're friends. I'd rather not play a Lon Kruger coach team, but we're both excited to be in the tournament. So I don't think it's an advantage for either to say, oh, we played them before. 2 different programs right now. He's 2 years removed. Our players are different. So I don't think that'll have much impact on the game.
San Diego State Aztec head coach Steve Fisher joining us on MOHR Sports. You are in a very small club, Coach, and that is guys in the tournament that have actually won the tournament. You won the tournament in '89 when you were at Michigan. Is it easier to coach at San Diego State, a program like that, where you're more likely to have guys show up for senior day than the one-and-done phenomenon of your Michigans and your Kentuckys? Are you happy at San Diego State, and is it an advantage in a tournament specifically, knowing you're going out there with guys that you played with for a longer amount of time?
I have loved my tenure at San Diego State. I'm in my 14th season, and things are immensely different. The history that you have at a program like a Michigan versus you're trying to create a little history when you're here. We had no history in terms of success, period, much less in the NCAA tournament. We won our first ever NCAA tournament game 2 years ago when we really, Jay, in 2011, if you remember back, we were 34-3. We lost to 2 teams, BYU twice and Connecticut in the Sweet 16, and we had a team good enough to win the national championship, which would be laughable a few years ago at San Diego State. But what's happened now is expectations have increased exponentially since we've had some success. So there's pressure. They don't like it when you lose now, whereas before they said, well, you know, that's okay. Don't leave. You'll be okay down the road. We do have a veteran squad. I think that will help us in the tournament. 4 straight years for Chase Tapley starting. And so I do like the fact that we've got talented veteran players.
You can answer this honestly. I won't hold it against you. Is it easier to coach a one-and-done type situation where the guy is an absolute superstar, and the reason he's only there is because he's going to the NBA, or is your job as a coach, the key word being a coach, is it easier when you have guys that are going to hang around all 4 years? Because there is a trade-off. Would you agree?
Well, it's easier when you have immensely talented players to win, if they all buy into the fact that when the time's right, and if it's 9 months, if it's after one season, if the time's right, everybody will know. I think it would be hypocritical for any coach in America to say that they wouldn't take the most talented players coming out of high school if, and I'll underline if you feel they could buy into they're not playing for an audition for the NBA, but they're playing for that whatever college team they go to. Nobody would not take them. The guys that Kentucky had, don't tell me that Duke and Carolina and Michigan State wouldn't take those kids. They would.
Just 10 coaches, including yourself, Steve Fisher, San Diego State Aztec head coach. Only 10 coaches, my friend, have won the NIT as well as the NCAA tournament. Can you name 2 other than yourself? Little quiz.
Well, I know Bob Knight did.
Bob Knight, not on this. Oh, yes, okay. I just wanted to scare you for a second. Bobby Knight, yes.
Yeah, you did scare me. Well, I would. I don't know who. Well, I'm one. I'm 2. So Knight and Fisher. How's that?
Fair enough. That's great. You know what? You passed with flying colors. I don't think people realize how successful you've been for how long, or if they don't on the West Coast, they do now with the success of the San Diego State program, which you absolutely turned around, and you guys are perennial, tournament guys. You won the title in '89 when you were at Michigan. Is there any feeling? Is there a comparable feeling? Is there anything like that when you get closer and closer and closer to that championship game? The stress and the anxiety. Am I wrong? Does it get easier as you go? Do you guys get looser? Or when you go into that final game, is it just brutal?
I think you get caught up in the moment. If you're a coach, you try to make sure you don't convey tension and nervousness to your players. If you do, you're probably not going to advance. But you have to burn that midnight oil, and you have to make sure you're prepared. And I think coaches worry more than players, to be honest with you, about what are we going to do if they do this and those sorts of things. But I think most people who are my age, Shay, most people who have been around for any length of time, they know how privileged it is, one, to get into the tournament. It's no one's divine right, including Kentucky. How about that? Including Kentucky, to get into the NCAA tournament. So what I've always tried to do is enjoy the moment. And it's easier said than done, especially when you're a favorite. But I think if you don't do that, the tension will show and the stress will continue to magnify and grow, and you're probably not going to play as well as you could. So that's what you hope you can do. And I think the longer you've been in it and the older you are, the more you can relate to that and really live that talk.
Coach Fisher, you certainly are head and shoulders above pretty much every coach in this tournament, and I wish you well. Win, lose, or draw, let's keep everybody healthy, and let's talk again moving forward, my friend.
I appreciate it, Jay. If we somehow win 2 games, call me and get me on next week.
Done deal. Love it. Coach Steve Fisher, thank you very much for joining us on the Progressive Insurance Celebrity Hotline. There he is.